Hey, ladies. Welcome to Black Women Making Money. We are the home of the upwardly mobile Black woman. So, as you are coming in, please like the video. Please like the video. And yes, we are going to talk about Cassie and Diddy and the lawsuit, but we are not going to discuss it from the messy point of view. Today is officially Small Business Saturday, so we are going to discuss this from the business point of view, ladies, because I, as many of you, saw all of the news unfold. And the one big thing that kept ringing in my head was that Cassie initially went to Diddy in order to grow her career. She went to Diddy in order to become a music star. She went to Diddy in order um, to be able to give her music to the world, right? However, because of, in my opinion alone, low self-esteem, it could be that she didn't have good parents surrounding her. For whatever reason, she ended up in a place where she was introduced, according to her lawsuit, introduced to drugs, introduced to a lot of sexual deviancy, etc. And the point of today within Black Women Making Money is for us to talk about this with regards to the fact that women today no longer have to depend on quote unquote them. And this is not just Black men, this is just whatever the system is, period. We no longer have to depend on them in order to make it big in music. Now, if you don't depend on them, will you ever win a Grammy? No, most likely not, because you won't be a part of the system. Will you ever win an Oscar? No, probably not, because you're not a part of the system. Will you ever win a People's Choice Award? No, because you're not a part of the system. But we as Black women who want to make money, if you are a creative person, ladies, you are able to make money with your music, with your movies, with your art, without them. Without them. So as you're coming in, please like the video. I see Rana is in the house. So hello, Rana. Good to see you. And we're going to have this discussion today, ladies, with regards to Cassie and Diddy and how do we, as Black women, increase our self-esteem, because we had this conversation with regards to Keke Palmer, I think last week. Lack of self-esteem. Black women, for whatever reason, we are lacking self-esteem. And I really want to hit that head on from now through 2024. How can we increase our self-esteem? How can we know we can do these things on our own, or at least without people who are going to destroy our lives? This girl's life is destroyed based on, because I did listen to a lawyer actually go through the entire complaint before Cassie settled, destroyed this girl's life, and she didn't have to do it. Black women can make money as independent artists. So that is what I want to discuss today. Hello, Mentor Shelley. This is heartbreaking situation, but I'm glad we're more empowered. I hope we are. I hope that other young Black women who want to get into music and who want to get into the entertainment industry, if anything, share this video if there's any young lady that you know who wants to get into the entertainment industry, because you don't have to go through them in order to do it. You don't have to go through them in order to be successful. You can make money as a creative person without them. So before we go through it all, I want to, of course, oops, how do I do this? There we go. All right. So if you've been living under a rock, you don't know what's happening. First of all, our garbage. This whole story was all over the place. I purposefully pointed out the CNBC articles about this because this wasn't just in Black media. This spilled over to all media. This story spilled over to white media. This story spilled over to international media, ladies. So ultimately, what happened was Sean, I knew him as Puff Daddy, Diddy, Love, whatever name he chose to go by, um, was sued by one of his former singers, a woman named Cassie, for alleged rape and sex trafficking. This is a horrific story. I'm not going to go through all of the grueling details, but it was over the course of a 10-year relationship that he beat her. He had men uh, like have sex with her while he watched, and all sorts of just horrific stuff based on the complaint, based on the complaint. And with the fastest settlement potentially in history, the fastest settlement in history, again, on CNBC. So why is this not showing here? Did you all see this? Yeah, allegedly, right? Look, he settled. So, but yeah, we're going to say allegedly over here. The fastest, let's see here, settles. the Within the fastest settlement in history, Sean Combs and Cassie settled 24 hours later. And again, I'm purposely showing you the CNBC articles because this was not just information shared in Black America. This spilled over globally. It spilled over into the business sector, et cetera, et cetera. So you're saying Cassie was groomed by P. Diddy and Ryan Leslie. I don't know about Ryan Leslie. I don't know who he was or is, but it wasn't good. It wasn't good at all. So now I immediately when I didn't see the headline first. I actually heard somebody, well, actually, I saw a headline on somebody else's YouTube video saying that that this was settled 24 hours later. I thought, okay, there must have been something within the statute of limitations that was going to come up that he said, "Let me just settle with her." That was my immediate first thought because I was like, nobody settles in 24 hours. The second thing I thought was he gave her every dollar that she asked for, or she had the stupidest lawyer on planet Earth. I know some people are like, well, they said that, they settled for between 10 million and 99 million dollars. I'm like, if she settled for 10 million dollars, she has the stupidest lawyer on earth. You're saying Ryan Leslie is a producer. Okay, I've heard his name before, but I don't know who he is. He doesn't want to go to trial. I would absolutely agree with that. And hey, Dawn to Earth, hello, hello. So then, as I started thinking about it a little bit more, I said there could be a second reason for it. This is a secondary reason, which is that it could have hurt some of his business deals that are forthcoming as well. It could have hurt some of, again, because this is on CNBC. This was all over the place of these horrible allegations, and they probably weren't going to go anywhere anytime soon. People were talking about Kim Porter and what happened to her and things like that. And this thing had the potential to really get out of hand fast for Puffy. So, uh, you know, the final thing that I thought, and this is a knock against Black people, let's be real. I'm about to talk about us. Black people forget really, really quickly. 6 months from now, most of us will be like, oh, I forgot about that. I forgot about that. So that's the reason why I said it could have to do with some business dealings he has forthcoming because he wants us to forget 6 months from now when he's ready to drop something for us, quote unquote, drop something for us. Mentor Shelley saying it's amazing how quickly he settled because he's evading accountability for his gruesome actions. Yes, he did. Yes, he is. And depending on if it's a statute of limitation issue, depending on what it is, that does not mean that all of a sudden DAs are not going to start kicking over rocks and looking for stuff. Now, the difference is when the DAs go to Cassie and these other, and trust me, I don't think that Cassie was the only one that had to that they said that they are settling with, because you had a whole lot of people coming out over the past 24 hours. I think that sh- um, Puffy's legal team is in talks with quite a few people and doing quite a few payouts that we will never ever hear about. I believe so. I believe so. So I'm going to say allegedly because this is what I believe. If he is smart, and let me tell you something, I heard somebody question Puffy's um, Puffy's intelligence. The man is intelligent. He's not a dumb man. He's quite smart. He is street smart and he is book smart. He probably wrote a list of everybody who was coming out with allegations, everybody who has proof of stuff. And he's probably, his legal team's reaching out to all of them in order to get all of them into settlements. You're saying he's getting sued by a member of Danity Kane? I didn't know that. He's going to be settling with a lot of people. He's going to be settling with a lot of people. Puffy, whomever, also needs his name clear because I've seen some news reporters link his previous posts. Oh, anti-Semitic comments. Interesting. He definitely doesn't want that brought up in today's climate, especially because we saw what happened to Kanye. Especially because we saw what happened to Kanye and Puffy and Kanye. Kanye, to a certain point, I don't think cares as much anymore, but Puffy does. Puffy does. So, but again, ladies, I really wanted us to talk about this from a different point of view. We are Black women making money. We are the home of the upwardly mobile Black woman. And the reason that I said today's conversation was going to be about we don't need quote unquote them. And again, them for me is not Black men. This is not a shit on Black men channel, right? When I say them, I mean the establishment, I mean these gatekeepers in Hollywood, etc. We don't need them anymore in order to make money in music. This is the most freeing thing. Cassie, when she came out in the early 2000s, that was the last generation of women who had to go through a lot of issues um, in order to get their music produced and get notoriety. We don't have to do that anymore. We have no idea what the women of the 60s went through. Yes, I'm calling the name Diana Ross and the Supremes, Martha and the Vandellas. We know that Aretha Franklin went through a lot. You know, the women of the 70s, Donna Summers, I don't know, Gloria Gaynor, like all of these women went through a lot and may not have all been sexual, but they went through a lot of stuff in order to get their music produced. The women of the 80s. We don't know what Whitney went through. The women of the 90s. We do know a little bit of what Mariah went through. But we don't have to do that anymore. We can make money without them. So there are a couple of different things we can learn from the Cassie and Diddy debacle. Other people are talking about the DV. They're talking about the demonicness of the industry. I want to focus with regards to us being Black women making money and know that we don't need them anymore in order to succeed creatively. Mr. Shelley is saying this lawsuit shed light on all his criminal activities against these people and more, and more. Because One thing that I think is interesting is she said in the complaint that he was getting mad at people and he would grab a gun and he would have her put the gun in her purse. And she said it was to show his dominance over her. My question, if I'm a DA, is, well, who are you going to see with the gun in your purse? If I'm talking to Cassie, right? Who are you going to see? So, hey, Notary World, good to see you. They've been through a lot of things. Even Eartha Kitt and Tina Turner, very much, very much. There was a time when you had to go through gatekeepers in order to get your stuff done, and you don't have to anymore. Rana's saying, Amen. Mr. Mottola was the devil to Mariah. So glad she got away. Yes, he was. And when she left, she was concerned that he was going to destroy her career. He almost did. He brought in Jennifer Lopez. He brought in Jennifer Lopez to try to destroy Mariah's career. A couple of things that worked in Mariah's favor. Number one is Mariah was already a huge success. Number two, Mariah was greatly talented. Number three, Mariah wrote her own music. And number four, I honestly believe this, Mariah seems like a nice person. In the words of Wendy Williams, she's a little ticky ticky boom, but she seems like a nice person. I haven't heard anybody from behind the scenes talk about Mariah in like, oh, I can't deal with her. I don't want to produce for her. I don't want to write with her, et cetera, et cetera. She kept her networks close. So yeah, Tommy Mottola, yeah. And I think there are things that Mariah went through that she will never tell us. I do. More people will speak up after Puffy. Yeah, I did hear Erica De Niro, I think is her name, say that the hip hop industry is about to go through a Me Too. The hip hop industry is about to go through a Me Too, and the things that we are going to discover within hip hop, I think we're going to discover some pretty sick stuff. I do. Yeah, he almost destroyed Mariah's career, and she was one step ahead of him. Thank goodness. She was smart and she was talented. So let's talk about the fact that you can be an independent musician. You can be an independent creative. You can start writing your own plays, your own scripts, and things like that. And yes, I'm bringing up Issa Rae Insecure. Now, I will start off by saying this. If you are somebody that needs to have a Grammy, this is not the path for you. In order to get a Grammy, in order to get an Oscar, in order to get, all of these things, we heard Monique say it. You have to play the game. You have to play the politics game. If you're looking to get People's Choice Awards and be on red carpets and all of that, being an independent musician is not going to help you. But guess what? Black women can make money in the entertainment industry without going through them. We saw it through Issa Rae. Now, I didn't watch Insecure when it was on YouTube. I didn't watch, what was it, The Adventures of an Awkward Black Girl, I think it was, when it was on YouTube. But she ended up with more than 200,000 subscribers and over 20 million views on her YouTube channel. Issa Rae. And her Misadventures of an Awkward Black Girl was an award-winning series. So she did very well. She flipped that into Insecure. And of course, we know the rest is history with regards to this. But ladies, it can be done. That's the biggest thing that I want to impart on you, is that we don't have to go through them in order to be successful. So I found this article here. And I know most of you are like more into tech or things like that, but I just wanted to share some of the things they said within this article here. And I added a couple of things as well. So You don't have to be Cassie. Cassie, you don't have to accept DV, people stomping your face out, things like that. You can start your music. You can make money being an independent artist. There are independent artists that do it all the time. I put some numbers together. First thing I put on here is if you have 100,000 raving fans and each of them spends $75 a year with you, that's $7.5 million a year. So where are you going to get the $75 from? Shree, where am I going to get the $75 from? Okay. Let's say you do one album a year where people spend $10 for your album, and you do 50 tour dates a year where every person who is your loyal raving fan spends $65 on a ticket to your your concert. This can be done. A $7.5 million business. And guess what? You don't have to split that with a record company. You can independently promote and put out and distribute your music these days. This is the great thing about technology. This is the great thing about being able to put our stuff on YouTube and Spotify and places like that, and be able to really cultivate a loyal group of people who want to support us and our music. You may say, Cherie, $100,000, 100,000 people, that's a lot of people. That's not a lot of people. There are 6 billion people on planet Earth. Your minimum goal, if you want to do this, if you don't want to be Cassie, if you don't want to have to go through Diddy and through um, Dr. Dre, who's another one, and all of these people in order to get into the music industry and get your head stomped in allegedly. This is how you do it, but you're going to have to put in some sweat equity. You all are saying Leona Lewis, you're saying Maya. Maya and Leona Lewis are independent artists. Yeah, there are a lot of great independent artists. And I bet you if they followed this simple plan, 50 tour dates a year, you have a couple of thousand people. I just went to see Gladys Knight, packed house to see Gladys Knight. A few hundred people were there. We paid $65 for our tickets. Yeah, you're going to pay your musicians. Yeah, you're going to pay your tour manager. The venue's going to get their cut, et cetera, et cetera. But you can have a $7.5 million business, ladies. Donna Earth is saying, honestly, none of it is surprising to me. It's about to be exposed. Yeah, it is about to be exposed. Mentor Shelley saying that's why Prince and Ryan Leslie leveraged the internet and technology to flourish their music careers. Absolutely. When Prince wrote he was a slave to that music contract. And let's talk about that as well. I didn't see the paperwork. I just heard this, that Cassie was signed to a 10 record deal. That means the average person, according to this YouTuber that I saw, the average musician only signs a deal for 3 to 7 records. She signed a 10 record deal with Diddy. That means she was attached to the guy basically for a better part of her career. I don't know how many records she ultimately came out with, but this is why a lot of these musicians can no longer make music. Versus if you build your platform, your fan base, and then you go to Capitol Records or Sony or some of these other places, you got something to leverage. A lot of us as Black women don't have anything to leverage and we just want to sing. No, let's get smart about the business. That's an indentured slave contract. She put out like 2 songs. Okay. I don't even know like any Cassie songs. I heard that she had a record. Cerebral said she had a record. Yes, I did listen to quite a few people talk about this because I wanted to hear what other people were talking about with regards to this. But it's indentured servitude. If you don't own your masters, then your masters will own you. Prince, exactly. So this is where you need legal assistance as well. You need legal. He had her sign a slave record contract. Yes, he did. And look, she wasn't the only one. A lot of people complain. A lot of people complain about Puffy and his big business dealings. Absolutely. So, and give me a second, ladies. 1 second. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm still getting over my cold. Okay, so um, when we start talking about the business of music, and us as Black women making money, actually doing the business of music, here are some things that we need to think about. Number one, this is according to this article, but I've added a few things myself as well. Number one is figuring out your place in the music industry. You want to figure out if you're going to be on a band or you're going to go solo. You're going to figure out if you're going to do self composed music or you're going to do covers initially. You're going to figure out the best age to start your music career. I think you're going to figure out what kind of genre you're going to be in. Are you going to do R&B? Are you going to do hip hop? Are you going to do positive hip hop? Are you going to do drill music? God, no for drill music. But, you know, don't get it twisted. There are a lot of people that make a lot of money just doing covers of music and going and, especially if you do covers from like dead people, you've got baby boomers who were 60, 70 years old. When I went to see Gladys Knight, those 60, 70-year-olds were in there rocking the Gladys Knight. They've got money. They just don't want to hear that crap. They want to hear something good and something positive. So you're going to figure out your place in the music industry. What kind of music can you put out that feeds your soul and that also gets you to 100,000 raving fans, right? Okay, that's number one. Number two is you are going to set some specific goals within your music career. Again, how many raving fans do you want? How much do they spend with you per year? This is why I was saying you get 100,000 raving fans. They each spend $75 with you per year. That means they buy your album because you come out with an album every year. Shout out to Rihanna coming out with an album every year. And they spend $65, they spend $10 on an album, $65 on a concert that you do every year. Boom. That's your $75 per person times 100,000 raving fans. All you have to do is tour and, keep your stuff together, and boom, you have money. You have money, right? You all are saying she did put out at least one album. Oh, you were being a bit extra. Okay, cool. Because I was like, I heard that she put out an album. Cerebral said she put out an album. But think about it. She can't put out any more music unless it's part of her settlement that she can go someplace else. So some man is, according to her lawsuit, stomping on her face, causing her all sorts of issues, and she can't make a move. She's tied to him. So you're saying here Cassie only had two songs that were popular. Okay. My world is here. I want to be a gangster rapper. I'm not fine enough to be a Meg the Stallion. Well, look, let me say this. Sexy Red apparently, and she's not phenotypically what we're used to seeing. She's doing well. So, hey. Mentor Shelley is saying the old school business of music is as corrupt as organized crime in some cases. It's absolutely intertwined, and some of the most corrupt people were in Motown, according to the documentaries I've seen. So, I love Motown music. I love Motown music. But yeah. Cass released one studio album, one mixtape, and 13 singles. So she was stuck in an intentional slave contract. Yeah. Tam is here saying get them skills. So I'm glad that Tam is here because she will back me up with this as well. We have to get skills not only with regards to music, but with regards to the business of music. We don't have to sign these slave contracts. And you, for example, you may have a sister, a friend, a cousin. You're really good at business. She's really good at music. Join forces, ladies. Join forces. Say, you know what? Don't sign that slave contract. Let us build something independent for you so that we can get you 100,000 raving fans. We can get you a $10 million a year business. And then when you go to, if you decide you want to go to the record labels, we got something to bargain with. But you have to have business skills as well as music skills in order to do that. I'm glad that Tam is in the building here. So I want to go through this a little bit more. So they say here, figure out your place in the music industry. Number two, set specific goals. For me, it's like, how many raving fans do you want? How much do you want them to spend with you per year? Like, are you going to do a certain amount of tour dates? Blah, 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 blah. Like figuring that out in your head. Number three, invest in your growth. They ask here, can you start a music career with no money? I think you can start a music career with limited money. Shout out to technology. You know how many people are filming movies on an iPhone these days? These days, some of these mixers are $300-$400, these audio mixers that people are doing podcasts on and things like that. People can get super creative. I did a search with regards to studio time. Studio time, professional studio time with an audio engineer is anywhere from $50 to $500. It doesn't take a lot of money. Can you start with no money? No, but most of us already have an iPhone. You get a decent microphone, you get a decent audio mixer, you know, you can make it happen. Bootleg moves, exactly. Exactly. Because everybody starts off with rough, right? We all start off with like rough, audio and rough all of that, and we clean it up over time. The more you do it over time, and if it's your own music career, if you wrote those songs, for example, you can re-record them. When you start making money, when you start making more money, you re-record those bad boys. Make short films, etc. Yes, you could do your whole music videos right on your iPhone these days. The technology has basically set it up so we don't have to go through them in order to make a move, in order to make real money in the music industry. So that's number three, is invest in your growth. You want to invest on the music side, you want to become a better musician, and you want to invest in the business side. That includes having a kick-ass attorney. Kick-ass attorney. That is the one person I would not skimp on. I would have the biggest shark of an intellectual property attorney that I could find. Right? You also want to have a very good manager or agent or something like that. I don't know the difference. I don't know the terms, but the person that's negotiating with like the different tour venues and things like that, I would invest in a very, very good person who can do that for me, because they're going to be able to know how to negotiate the different deals. The third person I would invest in, quite honestly, if you're not naturally good at it, I'd invest in a very good social media person that knows how to put the right tags on, knows how to create visually pleasing graphics and things like that, so that your videos will pop, etc., etc. Those are the three people. So you want to invest on the music side, you want to become a better musician, and you want to invest in your team and on the business side. The other thing that I would suggest is you invest in your own business classes. There are two classes that I want you to take. If you don't take anything else, if you don't learn anything else, I want you to take two classes. You can take them on Coursera, you can take them on Udemy, you can take them in your local community college, but there are two classes that I want you to take. I want you to take a marketing class because I want you to know the basics of marketing, and I want you to take an accounting class because I want you to know the basics of accounting. I want you to know if the books look funny. I want you to know if things don't look right with regards to your numbers. And I want you to know overall, like the 4 Ps, the place, product, all that stuff with regards to marketing. That way, as you get more and more people who are working with you, you can be like, I learned about that. That ain't right. And actually, you're right, Tam. I'm going to say one more thing. Where's Tam's thing here? IP. Third class you should take is some sort of an intellectual property law class. Again, you can take it on Udemy. You can take it on Coursera. You can take it at community college. You may say, Cherie, I can get that for free online. I can get that for free on YouTube. The reason I suggest you actually take a class on it is because you, in my opinion, if I were doing it, I would want somebody to go from regards to the topic. You need to know this, you need to know this, you need to know this, and have it structured. A lot of free content on YouTube, you have to piecemeal together. That is not the best thing to do. The best thing to do is to have somebody with an organized syllabus go through class 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You should read. That's boring. That's boring. All I want to do is my music. Okay, then well, when your manager or your accountant or your bookkeeper steals all your money, don't come crying over here. You're right. People skip the fundamentals. They do. They do. So you need to be good at music and you also need to be good at business. So the 3 things we talked about: accounting, marketing, intellectual property. You can go to Coursera, you can go to Udemy. There are other people that probably teach these classes specifically for musicians. But yeah, I'm glad you're laughing. Look, yes, I mean, boring makes money. Exactly. Exactly. Boring makes money. Um, So again, figure out your place in the music industry. What kind of music do you want to do? Do you want to go solo? You want to do band? You want to do covers, self-composed music, etc. Number 2, set your specific goals. Number 3, invest in your growth. You're investing in your music career as well as investing in the business side of your career. Number 4 is create an outstanding online presence. This is this article. These are some of the things that they suggest. Creating an outstanding online presence. So you want to invest in your online presence. You want to, and here's the thing, you don't have to start off on every social media platform either. If you just want to start off creating some pop-in videos and putting them on Instagram and pop-in reels and putting them on Instagram, or start off on TikTok or start off on YouTube, it's better for you to take your limited coins, because you definitely want to pay for the best intellectual property attorney you can find, right? So you're like, okay, Sheree, I got limited coins. Great. You invest in a very good lawyer. You've got a little bit of coins left. So maybe invest in one platform. Which platform do you all think? Because I think some people might do better on TikTok. Some people might do better on Instagram. Some people might do better on YouTube. It kind of depends on them. It depends on their avatar, what kind of people they're going after, et cetera, et cetera. If you're doing old school covers, you might do better on a Facebook or a YouTube. If you're doing new school stuff, you might do better on Instagram or TikTok. Even though there are a lot of 50 plus people on Instagram, so we're not going to sleep on that. Beulah is here. Hello, my dear. Small business owners must stop moving, do fast when being profitable. Absolutely. You're saying right, because being broke will not be boring. It certainly will not be. It certainly will not be. So create an outstanding online presence. Y'all are going to laugh when you see this. Again, this is from this article here. The next thing they say is networking is the key. How often do I tell you ladies networking? Networking, networking. What are the 4 things that you need in order to be successful? You need your technical skills, your soft skills, your multicultural networks, and your resources. This article even says networking is key. It's going to be who you know and who knows you in the industry, what you're going to be able to do. Mentor Shelley is saying there's a major merge with music and TikTok, so clips there should be good. Yeah, absolutely. I know some people, well, I don't know them, but I know there are people out there who are doing very well with their music through TikTok. Next thing is networking is the key. Next thing is build your team early on. We talked about that. This is from this article. Understand how to distribute your music on the internet. This is where a very good lawyer comes in with regards to you understanding the terms of service from these platforms. You put your music out there. Who owns your music? Does YouTube own your music? Does TikTok own your music? Who owns your music? Protecting yourself, understanding how to distribute your music. Are you distributing it on Spotify? Where else are you distributing it? How can people buy your music? How can people support you as one of their favorite musicians, et cetera, et cetera? So, how do you monetize your music? That is the business side of it. Understanding how music copyright laws work. We talked about that. Um, we talked about some of these other things they have on here as well. They have things on here about developing your release strategy. So, how do you release your music so that it is optimal and optimized, right? Make your live show better. So, you're going to invest in the quality of your live shows. So, more and more people want to come, they want to bring a friend, etc. And the final thing that I had on here, this is what I added that they did not have on here. Well, I want to say one more thing before I talk about what I added. They also said in this article, always maintain your mental health. True Mystique is in the building. I thought about you this morning, True Mystique. Obviously, because I was looking at your interview with Deanne, I finally got to see it this morning, and I owe you an email, and I also owe you the date that we're going to get together. So, everybody, True Mystique has her virtual assistant business for social media people. So if you all are looking for assistance with that, definitely give True Mystique a shout out. I'm going to be working with her. She did an excellent job of, we had an initial consultation and she took the notes and she put it into ChatGPT and she came up with a strategy, and we're going to be working together to kind of flesh out that strategy a little bit more. So definitely give True Mystique a try. You all are trying to figure out what you want to do in 2024. If you are trying to pump up your social media game, just contact True Mystique, get a free consultation from her, let her kind of work with you on that. And if it's in your heart to work with another Black woman, give True Mystique a shout out there. So you're saying, I'm thinking about pivoting my content and potentially moving onto TikTok. Okay. Everything is about the audience. And are you going to be able to monetize that audience? And that doesn't mean Google AdSense or however TikTok pays you. It just means, can you pull people off TikTok and get them, as clients or whatever it is, whatever your path to monetization is. So, um, you're saying here, I'm researching a similar strategy for my writing and researching different types of self-publishing. Great, great. So the final thing that I will say is, this is what the article did not say that I added. You need to be extremely good at developing business systems. Somebody put business systems in the chat. All of us need to work on that in 2024. If you are going to start your own business, if you're going to start a side gig, if you're going to start a side business, if you're going to start a full-time business, etc., I want you to write business systems in the chat, because all of us as Black women making money, if we want to get away from them, quote unquote, them, and we want to be successful. Sweet lady is here. Hello, my dear. If we want to be successful in getting away from them and making great money, not just good money, but great money in our businesses, we're going to have to develop the strongest business systems possible. So I wrote 3 things down on my notes and then put a 1 in the chat if anybody wants to come up and have this discussion. Put a 1 in the chat and I will drop the link. But with business systems, number 1, I want you to study business like a Harvard MBA. A Harvard MBA is the cream of the crop. They do a lot of case studies. They look at other people and how they're doing their business within their industry. They copy certain things that are working. And when people have their failures, they diagnose why that person had the failure or why that company had the failure. And they say, okay, I'm not going to do that. Our company is not going to do that. So, Cassie, for example, if Cassie were to become an independent artist today, I would say, Cassie, you are no longer Cassie. You are Cassie Incorporated. Beyonce is not Beyonce. Beyonce is Beyonce Incorporated. What are the business systems that Beyonce Incorporated needs in order to be successful in the music industry? You want to think the same way. Mentor Shelley is right. Business systems such as SOPs is standard operating procedures, process development are factors all successful businesses need. And your music business is a business. Again, put a 1 in the chat if anybody wants to come up. I wanted to give you an opportunity to do that. Put a 1 in the chat if anybody wants to come up. You are developing systems like a Harvard MBA. I want you to think cream of the crop. I want you to think Wharton Business School. I want you to think Stanford. We as Black women need to be smarter and stronger and faster and more pliable than practically anybody out there if we're going to make it. If we're going to make it. All right. So, number 1 is you need business systems. Number 2 is, and I see Mentor Shelley wants to come up. So, there you go. You need mastermind groups. You need mastermind groups. You need people who are doing, similar things that you're doing in order to say, hey, this is working with me. That's not working with me, et cetera, et cetera. The people who do the best, give me a second, Mentor Shelley, and I will be right with you. The people who do the best have mastermind groups. Number 3 is you need a strong team. Eventually, you will get to a point where you may have a VA, right? Who, whenever you launch a tour, you're going to have a checklist of things that need to be done in order to launch the tour. Those are business systems. Those are standard operating procedures. You're going to have a checklist for everything. This is the boring stuff. This is the boring stuff that, guess what? You might like them, you might not like them, but somebody in Bad Boy Records had the checklist, had the standing operating procedures. Somebody at Capitol Records has the checklist, has the standard operating procedures. Somebody at I don't know, Arista, where Whitney Houston was, had the checklist, had the standing operating procedures. And guess what? I bet you if you looked around, ladies, I bet you these are for sale and available. You can take somebody else's, some other record company, music company like Beyonce Inc., standard operating procedures. I doubt that she would have hers out there, but you all get what I'm saying. You can find those. Somebody will sell them to you for a couple $100s. You look at them, you start using them, you make adjustments based on what they have versus what you need in your business, and you keep it moving. And you keep it moving. Alrighty then. So I've got Mentor Shelley here. Mentor Shelley, give me a second. Let me get my headphones in. If anybody else wants to come in, you can. Everybody give me 1 second.
You?
Okay, hello, hello. I'm back. Yes. How you doing, Mentor Shelley?
I'm good. How are you guys this afternoon?
This we are on Small Business Saturday, and when I saw this whole thing, I'm like, this is why I started this. Partially why I started this channel as well is because I saw stuff like this come out, and I'm like, but nobody's talking about these things from a business point of view. So I'm like, I can add my 2 cents in from a business point of view. So, but go ahead, Mentor Shelley.
I, of course, appreciate you even addressing this from that standpoint because, of course, as women, we can definitely identify with what, in some way, shape, or form, or empathize with all of the things she went through. And of course, it wasn't that long ago that she went through this. But it also gives us the ideas, the enlightenment to not put ourselves in any of these type of positions because God bless the child that has her own.
You're
So,
right.
and when you talk about us developing businesses, of course, um, as part of being in HR for 20 years, SOPs and process development, or policies and procedures, as they used to call it back in the day, have been the cornerstone of many businesses, has been the structure in which businesses are built upon. Because if you have a good business system, as the E-Myth Revisited talked about,
Hmm.
then it definitely it gives us the the structure and the development that. Hold on one second.
Hmm. So I'm going to read some of the things here that you all are saying. Miss Coco is saying, I'm updating SOPs for family members' business as I listen to you right now. Well, good. Is that your business, Miss Coco? Do you actually do SOPs for people? Because I know Mentor Shelley does, a lot of
Yeah.
people need their SOPs. So hold on, Mentor Shelley. Let me just finish reading the
Yeah.
comments here. Tam is saying, if you can network at conferences, then see if you have a virtual talk. Rana is saying, I will take accounting class. You should take an accounting class. It's a very useful thing. Um, Tam is saying accountants are one of the jobs that makes the most millionaires. They are. I cannot tell you all enough. I know that like people always talk about STEM, they always talk about technology, tech jobs, tech jobs. People sleep on accounting. Accounting, every company out there needs accounting.
Oh,
Every company out there needs accounting. And if you're a CPA, if you can, take the classes, pass the exam, etc., you as long as you're like a bearable person to deal with, you should never be out of a job. You should always have money. Hey, it's Mia saying, I don't want to do music, but what do people who are good at making music but can't perform do? Like I heard an artist called Summer Walker has stage fright and can't tour. How does she make money? She can make money all sorts of ways. So this is where Tam is saying she can make money writing. So yeah, she can make money writing. She can make
mhm.
money from publishing. There's a ton of ways that people can make money in the music industry. You know, I don't know enough. Tam is saying here, branding, voiceover, commercials, background, yeah,
Mhm.
composing. You know who makes really good money? Are these people who compose for movies.
Oh yeah.
It's because especially if you compose something for a popular movie, every time somebody streams that movie, you get
Just
money for
yep.
that. Yes,
Absolutely.
yes. So narration and cartoons make money. There's all sorts of way that my creative ladies can make money without getting your head stomped in. That's the whole point of today. And thank you, Mrs. Coco B, for saying great stream. So go ahead, Mentor Shelley. You were talking.
Yeah, I was saying that the E-Myth Revisited pretty much delves into the depths and shows you from soup to nuts how to literally create a system that runs your business. That's really the building blocks of that are SOPs. The building blocks are process development, depending on what type of business you have. It could be an online business, it could be a brick and mortar business. If you depending on how far, if you're on doing the business by yourself, when you get to a point where You may need some help. That you may need a virtual assistant or you may need an in-office assistant. Their job descriptions are going to be different based on the business that you have. So you have to specifically have a job description. That's another way to make sure that you formulate the right job description to get the right type of person in your organization as well. So those are things, of course, I touch on and I help people, business owners with in my HR consulting. But I just wanted to emphasize how important business systems are. And if you develop your own, and there's always room for improvement, because your business grows or it changes, different processes come into play. Or do I need to tweak my marketing? Do I need to tweak my operations? Do I need to tweak how I provide my service? All those things come into play when you're putting business systems together.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, even within our business, you all know I'm a mortgage loan officer. I basically run the day-to-day operations for this company that we're growing. I've spent this entire year and spending next year just focusing on our three basic business systems. The first is lead generation. Like, what is our system for bringing in leads? The second is our sales conversion, basically. So for me, it's like getting people to fill out a loan app, right? Um,
Mhm.
but for a creative person, it could be getting them on your email list and to buy their first album of yours or something like that. And then the
Right.
third system we're putting together, and this is across all businesses, is service, customer service. So like, what is the customer experience once somebody works with our company? Ladies, you can do the same thing as a creative. Those three are like the basic pillars of every company. How do you bring in leads? What is your system for bringing in leads? What's your system for converting those leads into sales? Basically, sales means cash. How do I get somebody to give me their credit card, cash, whatever it is? And number three is the customer experience. If you are a musician like Cassie, the customer experience may be the concert itself, right? That is
Right.
why Beyonce is so hell bent on my concerts are going to be perfect. I've seen her behind the scenes. I haven't watched a documentary of hers lately, but I've seen her cut up behind the scenes with like, I said it a billion times. I don't want it like this. I want it like this. Why is she so insistent? It is because of the customer experience. And because she's been doing that for years, now people are like basically going bankrupt to go, go see Beyonce, but because they know that she's going to give a great show.
Yep.
Everybody needs those three, no matter what business you have. You need to think about those three systems, how you implement in them in your business, how you not quantify, but how you ensure that I'm drawing a blank, Mr. Shelley. It's not ensure. It's not quantify, but the metrics. Yes, you want certain metrics with regards to those three categories in order to make sure that you're being successful, and then you want to actually get the trends as well so you can see, are you going up, are you going down, if you're
Yeah.
going down, why, do we need to do something else, etc. But go
Yeah.
ahead, Mentor Shelley.
Yeah, you have to be able to measure how successful your business systems are. It's like
Mhm,
writing a process and not knowing, okay, well, I wrote the process based on what I have, but let's work the process to see if it is it really working. Do we need to tweak it? And then, okay, we know that it's working for a while. Okay, how has, let's say, lead generation improved because we have Zapier processes do automating some of it for us. Do we
mhm,
need to automate more? Do we need to automate less? We have to look at metrics once we put things in place to see if we need to tweak it to make it work better, or we need to take less automation and put more of a human element into it. A
mhm,
perfect example of that, or two perfect examples of that. Um, Chick-fil-A. Their business system is high-end customer service from a from a fast food standpoint.
mhm,
They the way they handle their lines. It's
And you
better.
don't even mind waiting to stay in line for their food.
You don't mind waiting because you know, number one, you know they're coming. Hi, they talk, ask your name. That's part of their system, so they call you by your name. So it's a personable experience from the start. Number two, they know based on I realize how they know because I've been through their drive-through line enough to realize what it is that they're doing. Because of course, I'm thinking process development on a regular basis. I
Hmm.
know it's strange, but I see that what they do is they put the name to the car. So when they're approaching your car, oh, are you Shelly? Because you're using the
Hmm.
name. They match the name to the car, so they
Hmm.
know what order to bring to whom.
Yes.
And as they're doing it, they have two lines. They have one per couple people taking money through credit cards with the little tablet thing, and then they said if you have cash, then they have one person halfway through the line that takes cash, and then as you're coming around, they have about 4 or 5 orders coming out. Oh, we need an order for, and they're calling you by your name. So keeping you occupied. If you keep hearing your name a lot, you're not really focused on the fact that you've been in the line for 5 minutes.
Which is very interesting. So let's
Yeah.
break this down a little bit more with Chick-fil-A.
Hmm.
Chick-fil-A is in the same category as McDonald's and Burger King and let's say Popeyes, for
Or
example,
Wendy's.
right? I'm sorry?
Hmm. Or Wendy's.
Or Wendy's. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Hmm.
So if we look at these, and ladies, we can do this with our businesses as well.
Right.
If we look at these, every one of those is known for something.
Hmm.
McDonald's is known for fast food. Fast, fast, fast. They didn't say it was good, right? We don't know what's in those burgers. The
Lord, the
fries
discrepancy.
last for like 10 years,
Right.
but they're known for fast.
Right.
So the systems that they work on is how do we make us faster? And that's the only system that they work on, right? I'm not saying this the only, but they spend the majority of their time working on fast, right?
Mhm.
Um, Burger King was we'll give it to you your way or whatever it is. Now, to
Mhm.
me, I don't know how Burger King stays in business because I don't like their food.
Mhm.
You know, I mean, if I want it my way, I'm not going there at all. But
Mhm.
but their systems is like this is the lane we're carving out. So therefore, it's your way. Have it your way, right? And every system that they work on really focuses on that. With
Mhm.
Chick-fil-A, it is extraordinary customer service.
Yep.
So 90% of their systems they focus on is based on extraordinary customer service. I'll give you another example, which is Panera. Panera
Yes.
is faster food, right? It's
Mhm.
a QSR, I think quick service restaurant, something like that.
Okay.
But they've gone through what? Healthier, quote unquote, healthier. Because now they have pizzas and all of that, but they've gone through healthier, faster food. So all of their systems is focused on healthier, faster food. So how do we set it up so that you can get your sandwich and chips or your salad or your, whatever it is in 8 minutes or less. And those young people in the back of Panera, boom, 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 they're like trying
Mhm.
to get you out as well, right?
Mhm. Right.
So I think that all of us can learn from that within whatever business we have. And what do you want to be known for? And really saying, okay, 95%, 90%, 95% of my brain power is going to be how do I perfect the systems in order to have this specific person who wants this specific result come to me.
Wow. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's where reverse engineering the customer experience is key.
exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
Miss Coco was saying McDonald's is also one of the largest landowners in the world. They are in the business of real estate and just happen to sell burgers on our properties and on
Yep.
their properties.
Yep. Very
Yes.
true.
Yes, that is the truth. That is the truth. But they still they've dominated the globe because they've been known for this whole fast thing, right? Now, their system, you're right. Their system has been, how do we find the best real estate in order to have our locations? You're right. They've spent a lot of time working on that. Beulah is saying here, high volume customer service. I worked those kinds of business systems in the gaming industry for 16 and a half years. So, yeah, you know a lot about this. You know, definitely know a lot about this. So, Ms. Coco is saying we're on fire. I love that.
Thank you.
Donna Earth is saying, I know there's the SBA and guidance can come from anyone, yet I need to research to see if there's a small business group for Black women. So, Mentor Shelley, you and I had a conversation back and forth uh, during Erica's what was it, the digital real estate.
Yes.
And it's funny you're mentioning this, Dawn to Earth, because Mentor Shelley and I were in class with Erica Williams, and Mentor Shelley said, "Yeah, you probably need a Facebook group for Black women making money." And I thought, maybe, we'll think about that, right? And the more I thought about it, this goes to Dawn to Earth's thing here. The more I thought it, the more I'm like, okay, the only way I would do a Facebook group is if the end goal was to help Black women get into one of four buckets, either sales, like I'm looking at anything that gets you like $200,000 plus, right? So I'm like,
Right.
sales, tech, it has to be certain types of tech jobs, um, entrepreneurship, and there was a fourth thing. Accounting, I know was something I thought of, but I'm like, we would have to really push like those kinds of careers within this group. And everything is about how do you make more money? How do you make more money? And I did think if I did entrepreneurship, I would do like a weekly small business group mastermind kind of thing. So we'll see. We'll see. Y'all know I'm kind of busy.
Uh, can I add to that, ma'am?
Yeah, sure, if you want
Yeah,
to.
the fourth thing would be business services because the entrepreneurs are going to need help with those.
So to me, that fits into entrepreneurship
Mm-hmm.
because you can be an entrepreneur doing any kind of business, including business services.
Yes.
So I might
Yeah.
wrap that into entrepreneurship, but you're right. You're right. You're saying, no, I was going to delete my Facebook. I guess not. Well, look, give me a couple of months to think about it because if I do it, I'll launch it in 2024, in January 2024. But I need to kind of set it up where it's not going to be a drain on me. So but yeah, maybe you put your Facebook on hiatus right now, right now, and I'll definitely promote it on here that hey, we've got a Facebook group, so that way every you all can talk with each other,
Yeah.
and we'll also be able to push our agenda of Black women making money, which is getting as many Black women to um, really, I say 130,000 on this channel, but I really mean 200 because 250 is really the new six figures. And then, a net worth of 550,000. So, how do we have those more? If I'm looking at a level 1 through 10 conversation, 10 being like the highest level of business, of investing, things like that, I need my ladies at least at a 7. Like, I need us to be at a 7, um, in order for us to really kind of move the ball forward. Because somebody else had mentioned in here about generational wealth. You can't do it being at a level 2, 3, which so many of us are, Mentor Shelley.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, how we learn to say, and I'd love to collaborate in that group. Yeah, I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about it. I'll know in the next couple of weeks if I want to do it. Mentor Shelley's going to have to. Mentor Shelley and Victoria are my mastermind members. They're going to have to like twist my arm a little bit more.
Oh, we're definitely going to talk about it in our next meeting for sure.
Yes. You're saying here, yes, I'd create a business to help with SOPs if I had a reason, maybe. LOL. I'm great at setting businesses up properly for success. So many people need that, Miss Coco
Mm-hmm.
D. Mentor Shelley does that, but I'm sure she wouldn't mind another person getting in because so
Sure.
many businesses need SOPs. They
Mm-hmm.
do.
That.
Um, If you do it, please require pictures so other folks won't try to infiltrate. I'm not gonna do that because if they infiltrate, they just do. They just gonna get making money from a black woman's point of view. So, I wouldn't do that. But I appreciate where you're coming from. I just wouldn't do that. Beyonce established Parkwood Entertainment, and all of her work comes through that. Look, Computer and Coin. Oh, first of all, I haven't seen you in a while, Computer and Coin. So hello, hello. Uh, Beyonce. People have talked about Beyonce for years, and the fact that she will get a song that somebody else wrote. She will add her name to it. She will add a woo woo woo, and get songwriting credits. Sia was one of the big ones that talked about that. So yeah, look, eh, that is how Beyonce grew her wealth. Beyonce, Matthew knows. I know that Matthew knows was problematic for personal reasons, but the man was smart. The man basically taught her that the money in music is not in the touring and in the singing, it's in the publishing. So that's when she basically turned to, let me write my songs. Anybody else who writes a song for me, I get publishing credits, et cetera, et cetera. So, Mentor Shelley, you got anything else to say? Nobody else wants to come up? You all can come up if you want to. Um,
You well, there's money to be made in that touring too. Now, don't sleep on that.
Yeah, but the big money, especially, because Tina Turner stopped touring 10 years before she passed. So the big
Mhm.
money is in royalties and like, other types of investments.
Right,
So I just
residual.
so since we're talking about music here, I
Hmm.
wouldn't want a creative woman to just think I'm going to tour, I'm going to tour, I'm going to tour because you're going to get to a point where you're pregnant, you're not going to be touring. Or you
Hmm.
just had a baby, you're not going to be touring. Or you're older, you're not going to necessarily want to tour like that. So that's where the multiple streams of income really comes in. So,
Oh, okay. No, yeah, for sure. For sure.
yeah.
That's why the music business can be so lucrative if you're set up the right way and not under some crazy slave contract. If you're independent, there's definitely many ways to make money.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And that's why I want my creatives to think of this from a business point of view. I would want you to map out the business plan for this, these SOPs from a business point of view, thinking about your systems, et cetera, within your business. Because a lot of creatives don't think about things from a business point of view at all or until it's too late,
Yeah.
So I thought that was the important thing for today's conversation. You're saying here, let us know if you decide to do it. I'd carve out time to participate. I'm currently putting together a group to discuss crowdfunding for a few projects related to housing and agricultural development. So I'll be honest with you. I would kind of want to, and this is my only concern, is that people would be promoting things in there and then we end up with some of the quote unquote scams. And I'm not saying you're a scam, Miss Coco B.
Mhm.
I'm saying that we would end up having some backlash with people promoting things, giving money to people, that haven't been vetted, and I don't want to be responsible for vetting. So that's my only kind of like, let me kind of really think about how this would work. I would want us sharing ideas and things like that, but I would also want us to, um, I would also want to protect myself as well. So we'll see. We'll see how that works. Um, let's keep in mind Beyonce is performing artist. That is why she's always touring. That is true. That is true. All right, Mr. Shelley, anything final to say? I'm so glad we have 37 people in here. Please like the video. Please like the live stream. Please share as well. But y'all are in here, Small Business Saturday, talking about business. I love it. Anything, Mr. Shelley?
Just final words. We always want to make sure that we are putting ourselves or looking for ways to put ourselves in positions to elevate. to grow our own personal economy, as you guys always hear me talk about on my channel, whether it be through the right job that's paying well, or investments, or businesses, or any kind of career path that is going to give us the autonomy to do what we want and not get caught up with the wrong guy, the wrong girl, the wrong situation. So we don't end up in situations like what Cassie did or the other people that are involved in this business of music. If you're involved in the business of music, do your research, do your homework, and stay as independent as you possibly can.
I agree. We have someone else here, Miss Coco B. Hello.
Hi. How
Hi.
are you? Can you hear
Hi.
me?
I can hear you just fine. How are you doing this small business Saturday? How you doing? Oh, you're on mute, Miss Coco B. Otto, you went on mute. You got to unmute yourself. Okay.
Can
I
you
don't know
hear me
what
now?
happened. Yeah, for some reason I had to unmute you. I didn't mute you. I didn't touch anything. So go ahead.
Oh, well, good afternoon or morning actually. I'm so sorry where I don't know where you're at, but it's actually morning
I'm
where I'm at.
afternoon. Yeah.
Good afternoon. I said, you know what? I'll just jump on and clarify. Um, I actually was saying those are the projects that are dear to my heart that I'm working on. And
Hmm.
so I don't want to promote them in there because I believe you're 100% and as you should protect that space.
Hmm.
The projects that I wanted to promote for myself, those are because that's dear to my heart for the generational wealth. So I
Ah,
encourage other people to do that, but you had got me excited to where if talking about the things that you're talking about, those four areas,
hmm.
and focusing on us coming together and bringing our talents from our community to helping each other, that's what I'm for. My
Yes.
projects are my projects. Yeah.
Well,
and I
great. I'm
and
glad that you
and I
clarified.
think that you should set it up like that to protect it because actually there was someone else who how you said I'm not going to block them from doing a certain thing because you understood that, but you're right, somebody will take advantage of this and people take things that are meant to be good and twist them and take them into areas that weren't intended. And so I thank you for taking the time to really figure out how, if you're going to do it, how to do it to make sure that it doesn't get tainted and it's actually functioning the way that you intend.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And I knew that you would understand. And that it, there are a couple of things where I'm like, the only way I would do it is if, and really trying to navigate that uh, tightrope pretty, pretty um, well, just being very deliberate. Let me just say it. I understand in order to do this endeavor, which I believe this Facebook group could have tens of thousands of Black women in there talking and, saying, hey, check out this resource and check out that resource. And we can all uh, do great things in order to level up. But there also has to be some order in there as well. So,
That's
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So,
I
well, thank you
commend
so.
you.
Oh, thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank
So,
you. And for your wisdom. Thank you for sharing the nuggets.
mhm.
So thank you. You yeah, keep doing what you're doing.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. I'm going to read these final comments and then we're going to head out, okay?
All right.
Uh,
Bye-bye.
bye-bye. So Donna Earth is saying this is so energizing, especially going into the new year. Well, I'm so glad. I'm going to try my best to stay on my Small Business Saturday, uh, you know, we call it cycle of doing live streams. So, because I love business, I do, and I think that whether you're starting a part-time business, you are starting a part-time because you want to go to full-time, you want a full-time business. Some of you need to start businesses because you want to get married and have a baby and you don't want your baby in daycare. All of these different reasons why we should be in entrepreneurship. Some of you are 2 seconds away from getting laid off. Like, start the business now before they lay you off or things like that. You want to have a couple of extra buckets of money. Some of you quite honestly, you've got your W-2, but if you had a part-time business, you could afford to buy a home, or you could afford to like really invest in your retirement. There are a lot of um, tax benefits to entrepreneurship as well that you're not taking advantage of if you're a W 2. So, we're going to go through all of those things. And I really just want people to expand their minds with regards to these things. So, Kiki is saying, I saw something about stock in music for the public. Do you know anything about that? I do not, but it wouldn't surprise me. I think that Sony is a public company. There probably are other music companies, entertainment companies that are public. So that's probably what they're talking about. So, Beulah saying, Black women, please develop a business system of starting jobs very early. Example, all of my customers I know start at 7 a.m., no later. I like that. So, the only thing with me is I'm also trying to get to the gym as well. So, but like I would love to start working at 7:30 in the morning. Um, but some people are night owls too, Beulah. So uh, I am and learning something new. Good. Uh, I can hear your passion for business. Thank you so much, sweet lady. Yes, I do. I love business. I just think it is a way to control your income, control your time. I don't think everybody should do business full time. There are the super majority of Black women that should keep your W 2 and just have your little side thing bringing in $2,000 to $5,000 a month, just in case people start popping off crazy at the W 2. You can say, you know what? F y'all, I got FU money over here. I'm going to go sit down and find something else. Some of it is a security blanket as well. Some of it is retirement, right? And that we're going to have more of these conversations within the Facebook group. I'm still going to keep the YouTube, and I see more of a vision for what I want Black women making money to be, and how we're going to live our home of the upwardly mobile vision. So, with that, ladies, thank you so much for being here for Small Business Saturday. Thank you so much to Mentor Shelley, Miss Coco B, all of you for being here. I will see you all tomorrow for another live stream. All right, hit the like button on your way out. Take care. Bye bye.